Hey folks, a quick note before we dive into this episode. This was originally recorded on June 1st. It will be coming out on June 22nd. So there may be parts of this conversation that aren't maximally up to date. Whenever I wait a few weeks before an episode gets released, I always like to give that disclaimer because I'm worried there's something we may have said that feels out of touch given the way that the market moves so quickly and we've seen some really hard losses come recently. So bear that in mind as you listen to this episode, and otherwise, I hope you enjoy. Hello, everyone. GM. Welcome back to another episode of Overpriced JPEGs. I am joined today by the co-founders of Joystick. We've got Michael Lee and Robin DeFay in the house.
Yo.
Robin has a background in tech and consumer audio as an entrepreneur. Michael Lee, you might better know as JustMaiko across any number of social media platforms. Huge audience on TikTok. You started with Musical.ly, is that right, Michael?
Yeah,
we'll get into it,
one of the first social media dancers.
One of the early folks, awesome dances on TikTok, YouTube. He's a gaming streamer, Instagram, and also was in the most recent Spider-Man film. You may have caught him in that as well. So very happy to have you two. Thank you both for joining. I'm excited to dive into what you're building now.
Thank you.
Awesome. Happy to be here.
That was a good intro. I like that a lot. Wow.
Oh,
Do you have it written down?
Thanks. Appreciate it. Before we dive totally in, and we're going to start talking about Shluv Pals, which is the NFT project you have coming out, Michael, and then we'll get a Joystick and what you're building there on the gaming side. We do need to pause a moment to hear a word from our lovely, lovely sponsors who make this show possible.
Rarible is the NFT platform that's leading the charge into the multi-chain universe ahead of us. Available on Flow, Tezos, Polygon, and of course, Ethereum, Rarible is the perfect place for NFT newcomers, profile picture collectors, and experienced NFT traders. Rarible has a variety of NFT features that set it apart from other NFT marketplaces. They have a native messaging function allowing you to DM your friends or haggle with sellers. They also have a mobile app on iOS and Android with a built-in NFT portfolio tracker tool so you can easily check the value of your digital art portfolio. Rarible is built on the Rarible protocol, a multi-purpose, open source, and community-governed NFT protocol that helps build products and services across the NFT ecosystem, including white label marketplaces tailored to specific NFT communities. So go to Rarible.com and start discovering and trading NFTs, putting in floor bids to join PFP communities, and DM with some brand new internet friends. If you're starting on your NFT journey, you need MetaMask. This is your tool to unlock the world of DeFi and NFTs without giving up custody over your private keys. MetaMask is both a secure in-browser wallet and also a secure bridge for your hardware wallet so that you can connect to any Web3 enabled website. You can now trade tokens with any DEX or aggregator. MetaMask Swap gathers real-time pricing information across the DeFi exchange ecosystem, allowing you to select your best price while getting all of the MetaMask benefits of self-custody, lower gas costs, and increased transaction success rates. MetaMask also has a fantastic mobile wallet, which I use while I'm out and about. And I use it to collect POAPs, NFTs, and use it for all my DeFi things while I'm away from home. If you haven't downloaded MetaMask, you gotta try it out. Download MetaMask for desktop and mobile at metamask.io, or load up your Ledger, Trezor, Keystone, or Lattice hardware wallets so that they too can get into Web3.
All right. We're back. We're going to talk about Shluv Pals. So, Michael, this is really your first foray into launching an NFT project. I know you've been in this space for over a year. I'm really interested in this because when I've heard you talk about this in other contexts, it sounds awesome, and it also is a world that I'm not super familiar with, and it has to do with Minecraft servers and making money like a guy named Mr. Beast. And I feel like this is all super important and relevant for the future economy we're all entering into, and I personally am not savvy enough. So honestly, would love to just start with you breaking down, maybe start with the Mr. Beast comparison that I've heard you give before. I know there's a couple different components to this Shluv Pals project.
Yeah.
But the gaming component of this in particular, and how you see folks in your ecosystem making money and participating on the gaming side.
Yeah, for sure.
Would love to understand that better.
Okay, cool. Got you. I'll give you a quick, elevator pitch of it.
Cool.
Pretty much with Shluv Pals, I wanted to kind of offer the community of Web3 something that I could personally give myself, being a creator of 7 years and being in the Web2 space and being a gamer and all that stuff. And I really wanted to create something that connected people with something that I was kind of already known for, as well as just bringing a new opportunity and kind of innovating in the space. A lot of the NFT projects had it was pretty much about 8 to 10 months of me figuring out what utility was. How could I make something that someone would deem valuable, you know? And it took me a lot of like trial and error, but I finally got it down to where, okay, this Shluv universe I'm building is, it embodies everything that I'm kind of creating, which is, you know, Shluv, which is self-love, you know? So that's kind of like my whole messaging and branding. And with all of these different worlds, it kind of ties it along with it, with different utilities and perks for being, you know, a holder of a community. So pretty much it's education, entertainment, and empowerment. Those are the three different ones with three different perks, essentially. And to start off with the entertainment, that was the one that, you know, obviously a lot of people are going to be knowing it for. It's pretty much weekly and monthly gaming tournaments for either cash prizes or NFTs or whatever we decide or whatever the community wants. And essentially, I'm taking that, having the holders of the community play to win this, and I get to utilize the content for it for Web2 to promote the server, to promote the NFT project, as well as what I'm doing. And essentially the money that I get from the Minecraft server, as well as the revenue from the content, I'm going to put it back into the prize fund of the entertainment like competitions. And basically it's like a snowball that's just going to keep growing. So say it starts off with something like $5,000 or $10,000 a month, it's going to start growing into like 20,000. If I make 50,000, I'm going to put in 50,000, you know? So like it's just constantly growing where it's self-cyclical. And it's a really cool way to kind of like water drop to the audience that doesn't know about NFTs, like, oh, what is this? How are they playing? I want to get a part of it. Oh, this is an NFT. What is this? You know? So it kind of piques their interest to where I'm not like, it's not so jarring in their face. It's more of just like a subtle detail that over time they're going to want to learn themselves rather than me just throwing it out in their faces.
Okay. I'm going to try and unpack this more with you,
sure.
But let me see if I get the fundamentals here straight. And so you have this huge following. I think it's like 50 million plus across platforms that are really in the Web 2 world of things with probably varying degrees of interest and exposure to Web 3. Was Shluv a term, this Shluv, which is like your self-love, was that a recurring theme in your Web 2 content?
Yeah.
And so that's something that your Web 2 audience is like familiar with and has resonated with and all the rest of it. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
exactly.
And now your sort of overarching goal here is, how do I bridge this gap between Web 2 and Web 3 and bring more of your Web 2 audience into the Web 3 world?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. You've got your evil genius,
Building. Yeah.
you know, building. Yeah, that's right. Building. Okay, money. Okay. So, and so you have these three pillars of this project, and does those correspond to three characters?
No. So all the characters,
the entertainment, education, and empowerment. No, there's just three different tiers you can buy into. So essentially,
so every NFT, every like character is pretty much just for the lore base of like what character resonates with each person. So each character was derived off of a part of me that made me feel like this is who I am, you know? So there's different characters from like Shlovy Baggins, who's like, he's determined for wealth and success to support his family and himself, you know? Then we have self-love, Vert Valentine, which is like, you know, in pursuit of self-happiness and self-worth. And then there's, you know, other characters. And essentially, it's just to kind of like have a more of a personal connection with the NFT itself. But every character, every community member will have an opportunity to explore the Shluv universe with their Shluv Pal.
Okay, so each Shluv Pal unlocks
All
the
of it.
entertainment, the education,
Exactly.
and the empowerment. You're not picking one or the other.
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
I feel like I'm hearing some Gary Vee influence.
Oh,
like
yeah.
with these characters that represent morals, and yes, you're nodding.
Yeah,
so
he's been a big influence on me for a long time. He's actually the one that got me into Web3 when he was talking like all about CryptoPunks and all that stuff. And yeah, I love the messaging that he made. And for me, it was like the reason I got into Web3 was because like I love my whole messaging and goal was to inspire people through my content to like tell them like, yo, like you can do this too. Like I was just a dancer and I was able to make so much opportunity for myself and my family through social media, you know, like it was something that
damn good dancer. You're a good dancer.
Thank you. And I pretty much saw like it was really dope, but I kind of got to a point where I felt like I was doing the same thing every day, and it kind of got, you know, I lost inspiration. You know, I was kind of getting bored. And with Web3, I was like, yo, like this is a chance for me to take my legacy to not only entertaining people, but actually being able to change their lives and giving them like the next opportunity. Because I knew it was a gold mine that was untouched. And when you're first movers and things, you have a lot better of a chance to make it in that market compared to years down the line when it's already kind of made.
I want to talk about what you've learned from your Web2 experience and your creator experience. Like one of the reasons I was excited to have you all on is to hear some of that from you. Like, what is somebody who's deep in Web3 now, who was deep in Web2, and understanding your learnings there. But I want to stay on this, understanding this gaming thing better, because again, I think this is actually, for people who don't understand this, I think it's like important that we understand some of this if we want to be deep in Web3.
Yeah.
Okay, a Minecraft server. So I think I understand at a high level what's going on here, which it sounds like you're saying you're going to do these gaming competition tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
Got a question about that, and the NFT holders are the ones who get to participate in these tournaments and and have the opportunity to win the cash prizes.
Now, not only
yes?
that, yes, there's a little extra too.
Okay. Wait, but there's more.
There's a little more, yeah. Because I know that a lot of community members or NFT people or Web3 people don't play games. I didn't want to only to be like stuck to a specific niche. I wanted them to still be able to take advantage of the opportunity. So pretty much I'm doing a kind of like a scholarship model where they're going to be able to lend out their I guess their place in the game to a fan of mine, or like, a non-holder essentially, and let them play for them. And if they win, the non-holder would win about like 20% of the prize, while the holder will win 80%. So it's like, to a kid that doesn't own anything, but they want to be a part of this competition, and then they do, $2,000 for someone may not be a lot for someone else, but to a kid, that's like, that's a lot of money, So I wanted to be able to kind of integrate both my Web2 and Web3 audience, whether they're a part or not a part.
Okay. And that's sort of like these scholarship models we've seen come into place through Axie Infinity and Play to Earn, which we'll get into. But the fact remains that to play in these tournaments that you're hosting, you have to be an NFT holder, whether you bought it or you're renting it out from somebody.
Exactly.
And then if what I heard you saying right is you're creating these flywheel effects, which is these games, these tournaments that are being streamed, you're then going to post on your channels to your audience of millions of people who are, your gaming audience, I guess specifically. Maybe it's not going on your TikTok channel, you can tell me, but so that it draws more attention to the NFT project and to the
content itself.
The ecosystem in general.
They're literally giving me the opportunity to make more content, to do what I'm already doing. But it's a way for me to give back at the same time and just cycling.
So I'm so curious in the history and the precedent here, because again, I don't come from a gaming background particularly, and it's an area I'm trying to understand a lot better. So I'm sensing this is maybe where the Mr. Beast comparison comes in. I know the name Mr. Beast. I know he's like huge and he's connected to YouTube and gaming and, or maybe Twitch or one of those. And I would love for you to explain the precedent in place for these kinds of cash prize tournaments. That's worked before, it sounds like.
I'm a big creator when it comes. I'm big on creating on top of things that have already worked and just adding my own spin to it. Mr. Beast, I mean, he is, if not the best influencer in creator in the entire world right now. It is insane to see what he's built and to show like, money is a massive incentive. A lot of people got into the Web3 space and NFT space because of financial reasons. It was a really big push. And when someone sees that a fan of someone can compete in a contest to win $10,000, $50,000, like just dishing out money, the views are going to come. And then essentially from that, the views turn into, dollars to make revenue on. So for me, I was like, okay, this is crazy. Mr. Beast is already doing this, but he's making the money back and the revenue just to put back into his videos. But for me, it's like, okay, how can I grow this and consistently grow it even more? So for me, I was like, okay, I'm taking this Mr. Beast concept of making these videos. But the thing is that his viewers, say it's 10, 15, 20 million viewers, they aren't able to play the games that he actually makes. So what I'm doing is I'm taking that concept of making those games accessible to the actual viewers on the Minecraft server. And then from there, you're going to have loyalty on that server. And what people don't know is that Minecraft servers are actually super duper lucrative. So imagining having all this, this loyalty going into the server, and all of a sudden the server makes a lot of money, the content makes a lot of money, and then I kind of siphon it back into itself. Now it's like I'm able to just kind of reinvest and grow, and what I get out of it, not just financials, like I'm really just reinvesting everything all into it. I'm pretty much getting the branding of it all and building my own brand where people can associate me with all of these things and have a good I want to have a good name to myself and have a good legacy. So that's how I'm kind of building everything.
Okay, I have more noob questions.
Go
and
for
Robin,
it.
I'm sorry, we will get you in here eventually, but I really want to nail this because I think you know, Michael, you're a bit younger. Like I'm still young, but like I feel old compared to you, Michael. And just like you know, I don't know, the language we use is different. So I'm trying to really wrap my head around it, and I think others want to understand this better too.
For sure.
Okay, are all of the games these people are going to be competing on built on Minecraft?
Yes. So the reason why I'm using Minecraft is because it's the most accessible and easiest game to actually build upon. You know, like there's so many different mini games that you can actually create yourself and experiences that you can create yourself. And the actual scalability of it is like insane. So like, you know, typically with games, like with the larger games, you can have up to 60 people or whatnot. With Minecraft servers, with the way that it's built and developed, you're actually able to get, you know, if you have the right team, of course, you're able to get up to 500 to 1,000 to a couple of thousand people all in one single gameplay. And that's why I'm like, yo, this is insane. Because like rather than, you know, playing 20 different games of 60 people, I can have one game of 1,000 people all playing together in a mega tournament. And I feel like that's such a crazy, you know, thing that Minecraft really has been the only game I've seen that's been able to actually break that barrier.
And Minecraft has broken like every record. It's just like one of the most played games of all time. We've seen things like NFT worlds for folks who are more in Web3. Like I'm more familiar with NFT worlds even than I am Minecraft, you know, because of how I've come to this whole ecosystem.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's helpful. And like in a Mr. Beast case, he's also like he has his own Minecraft server essentially and has his own set of games. No, he does it with other kinds of games. No, you're choosing to go the Minecraft route.
He just does stuff for content. He does straight for content. I'm bringing it one step further to allow the community to actually be a part and play and utilize it, because I feel like it's a wasted opportunity.
Okay, so you're gonna have like bespoke games built in your sort of Minecraft server world. Folks are gonna play it. If you own an NFT, you're gonna be able to play the game in a live streamed / like recorded capacity. So you'll get to see your character playing on, you know, Michael Lee's channel somewhere, JustMaiko's channel somewhere. And then on top of that, if you're an audience member watching the gameplay, you can then also go to the server and start playing the game itself.
Exactly.
In theory, like in a whole community of people that may be a combination of NFT holders and not and whatever. And the server itself generates revenue from those players being in there because
loot crates.
Tell me that.
Yeah, loot crates, in-game items, you know,
in-game asset
think
purchases,
Fortnite and skins. Yeah.
Great.
Exactly.
Okay. And because you control that server, you get a piece of that, and all of that can go back to be reinvested into the broader ecosystem. I think I've got it.
Exactly. No, you nailed it.
That's awesome. Okay. Very interesting. Last couple of points we'll just touch on in this, because I think that's just this initial pillar, the entertainment pillar. You've got this education pillar that you talk about. That's really, as far as I can tell, your YouTube channel where you're, you know, making videos around Web3 and trying to educate folks. Is that right?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, it's pretty much the education perk per se is pretty much an alpha group in the server. Anyone that gets in that's new to the community or that just wants updates, I wanted to kind of provide everything for them. So having basically like around twice a week of like alpha calls of like, you know, different things to kind of teach people like, yo, you should invest in this one or you shouldn't get invest or not invest. I wouldn't use the word invest, not financial advice, but you know, like what projects and teams to actually look into, opposed to like, you know, getting rug pulled and scammed. Like I wanted to take care of my community and anyone that supports me. And I feel like education is just a must needed thing.
And so you're saying that's happening primarily in your Discord channel. It's like an alpha group thing within your Discord channel.
Yeah.
When I tried to check your Discord channel, the link wasn't working anymore. Can you tell folks what's going on with that?
Yeah, there was,
what's the update on Shluv Pals?
I heard there was a you know, a several server hacks going on. So I had to turn off a couple bots that utilize the whole reaction and entering of the server. So I had to kind of take a break and just like reevaluate how to kind of structure the server and how to kind of move forward. So we're pretty much for the next few weeks to months, I'm hopefully looking to launch Shluv Pals in another month or so. And right now it's just kind of re-getting the community back into it because the bear market obviously happened and all that stuff. And I wanted to kind of take a breather and touch some grass real quick. So, you know, that was pretty much the kind of synopsis of that. And yeah, and to finish off the empowerment, essentially what I'm building with JustMeta is, you know, JustMeta right now is the a YouTube education channel, and pretty much what I'm doing with that is I'm eventually going to turn that into an NFT, a metaverse talk show. So it's going to be the first metaverse talk show. So think like the Ready Player One and the Late Night Show coming together. And that's going to be what JustMeta is going to turn into. So whether it's long form and also short form content, and the perk with the holders is that they're going to be able to be a part and produce it essentially, and give their thoughts and feedback, and also kind of like request people to come onto the show. So it's giving them an opportunity to be heard, the empowerment side, basically giving them a stage, kind of like Ellen, how, you know, if you bring on a person that has a cool story or a cool talent or whatnot, I want to do the same thing for a Web3 space and integrate this cool metaverse kind of like, you know, 3D element to something that's already working, which is like a talk show.
So metaverse has a number of meanings. So when you say it's a talk show in the metaverse, you say Ready Player One. Does that mean this is really built for VR? What does it mean to you to say it's a talk show in the metaverse?
For now, it's going to be on platforms that are already, you know, our social medias. So TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, whatnot. It's going to be made into a video, but it's going to be metaverse in the sense that it's going to look like the quality of like Ready Player One, for example.
Like it's going to have the aesthetic of that?
Like 3D characters. So think like not real me,
so
a
you're
metaverse character.
you're gonna interview folks. You're gonna interview a Meebit, and it's gonna have those sort of like rigged pieces where it maybe isn't a human, or you're interviewing a Bored Ape or something.
Yes,
of
exactly that.
Cool. So what's the timeline like, or is this a stage thing where the entertainment piece comes first, and down the line you have JustMeta? Where how do you see this playing out? From a
education and entertainment are both things I'm able to execute on pretty much immediately. Empowerment, I'm already working through them. I already have the models, basically going through them and rigging them, essentially getting all the assets together. But I have the team already built. I have everything else ready. It's just a matter of like how long the art takes to build the actual characters and the models, and funding everything. So yeah, I'd say my first video hopefully will come out in July. Of a short form.
For the talk show?
Not the talk show. So it's gonna start off with short form content first to build the audience, and then from there I'm gonna build into the talk show eventually. But it's gonna start off with tons of short form content, and from there just kind of grow an audience, and it's gonna go into whatever else I want to build.
Okay, truly last question before we go to Joystick, and we'll actually probably touch on this again later.
Fire.
I am interested in, you know, you're saying short form content first to build the audience. You do have some videos out on like your JustMeta channel or something that feels like around the JustMeta channel, which does talk about Web3 education. And, you know, it's noticeably smaller certainly than most of your other platforms.
Definitely.
Is that something to do with do people like, you know, the Web3 educational content less? You haven't promoted it?
I haven't promoted it pretty much. Format? Yeah, essentially what I'm doing is I'm still in my pre-building phase where I'm building out evergreen content, where like I want to build content where people can basically come whenever and essentially you know, learn about anything they want from I'm basically laying the foundation essentially, right? I'm creating like, what is NFTs?
You're building.
I'm building, exactly. You know, so when people do learn about the opportunities and when they're interested, when it's a bull market, obviously people are going to be interested again. They're going to be like, okay, I need to learn about this stuff. I want to have all of that stuff in JustMeta in a simple and easy way for them to just like understand everything, opposed to like, you know, market updates and constant videos where it's like it's only good for like a week or two. You know, I want to make content that is dedicated for anyone that wants to learn, whether it's a month from now or a year from now, you know. And from that, obviously short form content is going to be what drives and pushes the engagement and the traction to it, and then from there it's just going to be easy going.
Okay, well, we're going to talk more about your tips of like how to make viral content and like what you've learned about how to hack these algorithms and build a huge audience. But we're not going to do that right now because we need to bring Robin into this now. Robin, thank you for your patience. I want to talk about Joystick, which is the other venture that, Michael, you're launching, and you're doing it in tandem with Robin and I think a team of others. Maybe let's start with you, Robin, explaining what Joystick is, if you can, just sort of like, here are the 4 things Joystick, here's what it is, and here are like the 4 things it does, if you can put it in that kind of a framing. If not, do what you gotta do.
I definitely can. You know, everything Michael was just talking about, it's all about laying that foundation for this ecosystem of building in this Web3 digital world that's coming together. And every piece of what he's involved with kind of fits nicely and is complementary to each of the others. So we've been building the digital world since the beginning, from the first MMOs all the way through to the adoption of blockchain. And the gaming industry is undergoing this evolution where you have the ownership of these assets in the game world shifting from being exclusively developer owned to now players being able to own them, and opening up the doors to what's possible, where people can earn real money, and the best of them can literally earn financial freedom. And so as this world starts to take shape, Joystick is your North Star in this new digital frontier. And you asked about 4 things. I would say we'll educate you on the best games to play, the best tactics to win, and the best strategies to earn. We'll equip you with the most valuable assets in the leading games to maximize your profits and your success within them. We'll support you with community like family, led by creators in Web 2 and Web 3 gaming worlds. And then we'll open doors for you to be seen and heard and grow your footprint in this new gaming ecosystem that's developing.
Okay. So I want to separate this into like the consumer experience, and then let's call it maybe the back end and what y'all are doing and how the business mechanics of it work. Starting with the consumer experience, based on what you just said, it sounds like this is going to be browser based to start, right? Like there's or maybe Discord browser based, but like I go onto your site and I can get a lowdown on like, okay, what's happening in the GameFi ecosystem specifically? What games are hot right now? You know, obviously in the last year, you've seen things like Axie and Gods Unchained, and you could probably argue Creeps or Wolf Game. I know I've seen those on your site, so we'll talk about them maybe a little bit, but you can see all that. Okay, see these are hot, and then get some guidance on how to play or yield farm or make money off of these games, and then borrow assets. If you don't have the asset you need to play one of these games, I can go on in and borrow an asset from y'all to go and play that game and try and earn. Is that right? And what would you add?
Kind of.
Okay, correct.
We put a little bit of a flip on the model. So we're not actually borrowing and lending assets, but what you have is there's literally 3.25 billion gamers in the world, but there's only around 1.2 million people that have actually owned an NFT at this point. So even though we all hear about it every day and it's everywhere we look, the reality is there's very few people that have actually interacted with and engaged with this technology. So as this gaming arena continues to grow and more exposure comes to it, you have this mass of gamers that are going to be exposed to the opportunity to actually earn in the games they play, whether it's through the currencies in the game or actually in-game assets, right? And so we're going to be able to usher you in and show you the best places to play, the best places to earn. And then instead of this lender model, which is what the entire industry has adopted, it's called scholarships, where you essentially have the asset owner who maybe purchased it but doesn't have the time to play, and you have the player who can't afford to purchase the asset because oftentimes they're exorbitantly expensive, and they can be. And so when they revenue share on this asset, the player is playing the owner's asset and cutting off 30, 40, even up to 50% of the revenue that they generate and giving it back to the asset owner. This doesn't give the player a sturdy foundation to build on top of, to build their own presence in this Web3 space. So the way we're adjusting that model is providing the assets in all of the best games at all of the variety of different levels on a rental model, where somebody can come in and pay a much lower rental fee to get access to the asset. And then we let the players themselves keep 100% of the revenue that they're able to generate, which will give them the ability to actually establish and scale their own position within this ecosystem.
So the distinction is, instead of borrowing an asset for free initially, but then having to give a sizable percentage of your earnings back to somebody, you're paying a fixed cost on a monthly basis or something and keeping all of your earnings as a player. So
exactly.
So it strikes me that both could you might pick one or the other. Like as a player, one might be better for you than another. If you know you're a really good player and you have a little bit of upfront cash that you want to put up for it, your model might be better, whereas somebody else maybe like, I have no money up front to put up, I'd rather give up a bigger percentage. Does that feel right?
Yeah, it does. But we're also cultivating a really special community, and we're going to be opening up the opportunity for people within our community that don't have the money to even put up for a rental, the ability to earn access to the assets completely free of charge on a trial basis, just opening the door for them and giving them the opportunity to earn from nothing. Because, well, yes, we are going to support people that are the best at the games, and this model allows for them to earn more money. At the end of the day, we're going to make it possible for people to come in with any level of experience from a ton to none, any level of finance from a lot to nothing, and be able to begin to establish their own journey into this realm and to kind of carve their way towards their own victory.
So you recently announced an $8 million raise. I think you have more you're looking to raise. Where are you in the stages of this vision coming to fruition?
We're well within it. So we did close out the $8 million seed round, and now we're on to the Series A. We're currently undergoing meetings with all of the biggest names in the industry and looking for the right partners that add strategically to the environment, whether it's connections in countries that we're looking to expand in, or access to deal flow that maybe opens doors to us with new games and new opportunities that we may not have had open to us otherwise. We're pretty excited about where we stand. We're literally unveiling everything to the world that we've been building for the last 6 or 7 months and getting the momentum rolling on.
So unveiling, you're like, right now you're in the unveil period. If somebody wants to come and start playing in a game, renting an asset, is that open and ready to go?
Yep. Right now you can come in and apply for the beta rental access to the assets that we have live. There's a new game coming out. It's actually in the process of rolling out right now. It's called Big Time. It was created by Ari Melik, the same creator of Decentraland, and he had the vision to see that these games are going to act as the bridge to the metaverse. And he assembled a AAA studio to be able to bring a game out, a AAA quality game, to blockchain well ahead of everybody else. Right now, they're unrolling, and if you compare Big Time to any other game on the blockchain right now, it's not even close. It's by far the most similar to what you would be comfortable seeing as a player of a more modern game today. I mean, they have that early mover to market. So we just, through the leverage in our relationships, we were able to acquire a massive position. We're the #1 largest holder of space, which is their land in the game. We have over 12,500 pieces, and we're currently using that as the foundation for this entire rental platform to be able to build out the ecosystem of educational resources, streaming assets that will shine a spotlight on the game itself as well as Joystick. And then the actual rental platform itself, getting players utilizing our assets, working with our technology, and really putting together the foundation that we will add additional games to as we move forward.
Okay, Big Time. I'm sorry if I missed this. He started building earlier. Why was he able to come to market with, and I'm taking your word for it, I'm not endorsing that as a AAA game, but I'm taking your word for it, so much earlier than, we have sort of expected to see these top quality games.
Yeah, he's a visionary in the space. So he created Decentraland, which is one of the top 2 largest metaverse, Decentraland and Sandbox, in the space. And so he saw early on that these games and the communities and the attention that gets put into these game worlds is going to be the first iteration of metaverses in this digital world. And he started assembling the team right out of Silicon Valley that had deep experience in creating traditional games for many, many years. And
so he just started earlier.
He started earlier. He was ahead of everybody. And that's why his game, which was developed entirely for the blockchain, is out now and being played.
It's increasingly obvious that everything will become tokenized, and NFT marketplaces needs robust financial reporting, performance analysis, and the peace of mind that they are compliance ready. Guilded's NFT Ops is a one-stop financial reporting solution for growing NFT platforms. Guilded has developed marketplace-specific modules to track the financial performance of NFT creators, including revenue tracking, collection metrics, royalty payments, and revenue share. Customers of NFT Ops gain full access to accounting tools and powerful APIs for custom integrations that simplify operations, streamline reporting, and produce tax-ready data. So no wonder why so many top brands like CoinMarketCap, Gitcoin, Nifty's, and POAP trust Guilded to automate complex reporting workflows. Visit gilded.finance/Bankless to learn more. There is a brand new staking feature in the Ledger Live app today. We all like staking the assets that we're bullish on, and now you can stake 7 different coins inside the Ledger Live app. Cosmos, Polkadot, Tron, Algorand, Tezos, Solana, and of course Ethereum. With Ledger Live, you can take money from your bank account, buy your most bullish crypto asset, and stake that asset to its network, all inside the Ledger Live app. Through a partnership with Figment, Ledger also lets you choose which validator you want to stake your assets with. And Ledger is running its own validating nodes, offering a convenient way to participate in network validation, and it even comes with slashing insurance. Ledger Live is truly becoming the battle station for the bankless world, so go download Ledger Live. If you have a Ledger already, you probably already have it, and get started securely staking your crypto assets.
Okay, so Michael, I want to ask you on a lot of the documentation that I was seeing around Joystick still was using this term play to earn, which I feel like is on the verge of being out of fashion because we've seen games like Axie Infinity have their peak and then seem to start to struggle more recently. And the very concept of if you're playing to earn, meaning that at a certain point the economics of it have to collapse because there's too much extraction and not enough money being put into the system. Are you guys still bullish on play to earn, or are you also moving your mentality to like play and earn and some of these other terms we see come out?
Oh, I mean, yeah, I mean, I guess technically play and earn works too, because at the end of the day, these games are essentially going to be free to play as well, but they won't have the access to earn, you know. So that's where the NFTs, the whole, you know, thing comes in, and that's where the obviously the branding and IP goes a long way. Obviously, we see that with Fortnite. We see that with all these games that are free to play, but you see these, you know, millions of dollars rolling in every week or every day. It's going to happen with the same thing with these games. You know, we are early and there are only a handful of games that are out right now, but literally, I mean, we see games like Epic Games partnering with Lego doing $3 billion for the next metaverse game. You know, like there's major companies and games coming out that throughout the months, you're just going to start seeing tons come out, because guaranteed when you hear something like Fortnite, if there's a game that's equivalent to Fortnite and you tell a kid, hey, you can make money while playing this game that you already play, that you don't make money from right now, like it's kind of a guarantee that they're gonna hop on and be like, yo, let me try this out real quick, you know. And we want to be,
well, I don't know. I think the gaming community has not reacted that way. And I'd be curious, have you received backlash as you've talked about this and you're building up a gaming audience from people? You know, gamers feel very strongly that they hate this and this is not what they want. Obviously they'll come around.
I think this is the future. I think that people that are against it are, you know, typically people are afraid of change. But it's a thing that it's going to happen. Like, you can't stop it. You know, if you're giving an opportunity to someone to make money while playing a game that they love, not just a game like, we're not forcing people to play games. These games are not forcing, you know, Axie Infinity, although some people may not find it fun, but others may find it fun. It clearly was successful. You know, it was obviously one of the first movers, and it has had such an insane success and journey with them that imagine when a game like Fortnite comes out, a game like, you know, Minecraft or what, like NFT worlds building on top of a game that's already working right now. Like, there's so much opportunity that people just don't understand. They don't see it yet, basically. And we want to provide them, you know, that to be able to do.
That on-ramp really is your goal, to be a first stop for people new to this world,
yes,
to come and start trying it out?
Yes, 100%.
100%.
Like, yeah, half of the economy right now of Web3 literally came from Axie Infinity. Like a lot of people were onboarded into Web3 because of gaming. So, and that was,
or Top Shot, which is,
yeah,
you know, different, but it still has that gamified component to it.
Yeah, exactly.
So y'all are kind of using play to earn as a catch-all to say, like, blockchain games, which inevitably come with them a certain opportunity to either make money or offshoot the money you've spent, or you're not using it too specifically to mean it has to be what we think of as a traditional play to earn game?
I think if I could add into it, you know, play to earn is going to evolve just like the entire space evolves. Play and earn is the long-term success, because it's all about the fun of these games, right? The games being fun and players enjoying being a part of the ecosystem, because the entire loop is adding value to the experience for them. And some of the, like Axie made massive accomplishments being the first to lead and pioneer something like that. You don't have the others to look at as an example for what to look out for and what may work and what may not work. And you see them right now evolving, adding the builder economy to their game. Jiho, the leader over there, is so capable, and his head is ahead of the game, and he's constantly looking for ways to evolve. So I think just like that, the entire play to earn space will also evolve into the best iteration of itself. But at the end of the day, long term, it's all about fun. It's all about these games being fun and engaging. So play and earn is where this industry is ultimately going to head.
I think you should update your documents. I think it should say play on Earth.
We're building across the board, and I can tell you that update's on the way.
Yeah, and we're seeing it with Axie. I think Axie Origin, you have the free Axies to try and onboard more folks into it who can play just because they think it's fun, and then if they want to upgrade to buying an Axie. It says on your website that you've invested in Axie, Wolf Game, Creeps. I think Gods Unchained was on there, Guardians of the Galaxy or whatever the IMX game is. What does that mean? Does that mean you own, by investing in that, is that to say you own assets that are available to be rented out to players who want to come on board?
Yeah, not everything is available to be rented out, but it does mean that we've taken a position and that we own assets within that game. Other Side's another one. We own a ton of the Other Side land, and we're really excited for what Yuga Labs are building. But yeah, anything on the site, we own assets within their game world. But the game has to be live for us to be able to rent them out.
Sure. Okay, I want to give you my criticism of land sales and get you to react to it because it sounds like you're bullish. And I think that there's a problem, and I've spoken about it on this podcast. I actually have another episode in the tank that I haven't released yet of somebody who's a little bit critical of this, which is like Web3 does such a good job of incentive alignment. And the problem with these land sales is it says the incentive for Yuga now is to make money, or they're beholden to make money to a bunch of people who were available to purchase this land on a Saturday night or can now afford to purchase it now, as opposed to aligning their incentives with the people who are building the most, doing the most, playing the most in their metaverse. What do you think about that as a big Other Side landholder?
I think there are a lot of different ways to skin a cat, so to speak. I think that the way that they approached it makes sense for what they were building. And I think you'll see other companies, other game developers approach it differently to make it more fair based on the people that are building within the world. But at the end of the day, anything that's coming from the ground up and being built for the first time is going to need to have the most hardcore supporters that get behind what they're building to be able to blossom their ecosystem and their economy on top of it. So I
don't know if this was the best way, because hardcore, how are you being defined as the people who will buy in early versus the people who will build the most early? That's where my problem comes in. I think it depends on how much you want to rely on UGC and how pivotal the land is to your ecosystem. But I think you're cutting out a whole population of players who maybe would be really good for your ecosystem but can't afford the land.
And I think that's where we come in.
Regret this in the end.
And that's where we come in.
And that's where you guys come in. Exactly. Yeah, that was just a setup just to help explain where y'all wanna be. Okay, so you mentioned you're trying to raise this Series A round. I think I'd seen figures like 110 million you're looking to raise for this. You mentioned you've maybe held off on the Shluv Pals launch because of the bear market. What has trying to raise a Series A been like in this current market?
It's been challenging, but it's a good challenge. What's really cool about the space that we're building is no matter what happens up and down the market, we know that where the technology is headed, and where the technology goes, the attention and the money flows. So we have no hesitations or concerns about the direction we're going in, but we've definitely had to alter our approach as we've gone, just given the climate of everything. And so we've done that. We've done exactly that. We're still meeting with all of these amazing funds. We're actually looking for who fits the ecosystem we're building the best to lead this Series A round and who adds the most value. But yeah, you just change with the changing waves of the industry, right? And we roll with the flow, and we do what makes the most sense to ultimately succeed with developing and putting our vision together. And so we've done the same thing with regard to the raising process.
This is a question you may opt to skip, which I understand, but the 110 million figure, we'd love to have you break down where that comes from. Or 110 million, you're trying to raise 110 million. Yeah. So like how the valuation works, how you determine that figure. If you can shed some light into that, I think people would be interested.
Yeah, user acquisition is an absolutely massive piece of the strategy for what we're putting together. Being able to onboard as many people that are looking to come into this new ecosystem and give them the tools and resources needed to succeed within it. And then being the one that they see, and this is not an inexpensive strategy to put together. Ultimately, developing value-adding products that we can put into this gaming space to provide value to both our community and the industry as a whole, so that we're able to develop out a community And then down the road, our long-term vision is to acquire AAA gaming studios and to begin to develop and release our own titles out through our community into the world. And so the 110 million number was a number that we came to that we felt would take us from start all the way completely to finish, giving us the resources and the assets that we needed. When we looked at what we brought to the table and the amount of money that comparable companies like Merit Circle and Yield Guild and others had raised in late 2021, we felt that it was really fair. You know, we had more NFT assets under management than both of them leading into it. We had generated 1.5 million in revenue in November and December alone of 2021. So when we were putting this package together, the numbers really made sense to get us to where we were interested in going. Market conditions, landscape evolves, right? And things change. And we got pushback understandably in that area. And so, like I said, we take the feedback and we just continue to shape the direction that we're going so that we can all create a win for ourselves and for the community.
Is part of the user acquisition plan or what percent of this, and maybe this is for you, Michael, like is around your community and trying to bring folks from your gaming community into this ecosystem, or are you trying to keep these worlds separate?
No, I mean, it's in general. Like, it's not even just my communities. I think it's the gaming communities in general. Like, we're not just bringing my audiences. We're bringing Web2 gaming creators, Twitch streamers, like people that are already in it, as well as giving opportunities to, you know, like, to give them an opportunity to be able to be an esports player, to be able to make them into their own guild leaders, to make them into streamers, whatever they want. I want to give that opportunity to them, to anyone that joins the Joystick ecosystem. And that doesn't take one person. That takes an entire, you know, a village, a team. And that's going to be, we're just going to spread. I'm just one piece of the puzzle, you know?
I'd love to get your thoughts on chains for, I guess that's how I would phrase it. When it comes to gaming, I think we've seen recently Ape Coin made the announcement they would be moving to IMX after they had, you know, sort of their trouble with their other side drop. You obviously have Axie is on Ronin, you have Dapper on Flow. Do you have a bet as to where the future of gaming will be, understanding it probably can't be scaled effectively on Ethereum mainnet?
Well, layer twos, it can be. I mean, Immutable X is a layer two on top of Ethereum mainnet.
On top of mainnet, but not like Ethereum main chain, layer one.
Correct. Yeah, no, understood. Understand what you're saying. Yeah, I think that looking at the gaming ecosystem, there's some clear leaders in the space. What AVAX is doing with subnets, giving the games the opportunity to actually put all of their on-chain transactions onto their own chain, which is a sub of the AVAX chain. That's a really value add to the industry. Immutable X, like you said, the lineup of games, you can go through it. They've just got a slaughterer's row of really, really well-funded, well put together, great teams building the games on Immutable X. I have no doubt that there'll be a player in the space. Polygon, another one that puts a ton of attention towards gaming, another layer two there on the Ethereum chain. I think that you're going to see multiple come kind of step up. And then you're also going to see ecosystems like the Gala Games ecosystem, where they have their own ecosystem of games that have been built out specifically by them for their chain. There will be a good mix of all of them, because I think blockchain gaming is going to be one of, if not the best use case for blockchain technology in the near term future. So I think you're going to see a lot of people starting to shift in this direction. All of the different chains want to get their hand in on the gaming front.
I want to shift a little bit to the creator economy topic. Michael, you know, you're again deep and early in TikTok. You came from the Musical.ly world, so you came up with all these TikTokers who, if you have heard of any TikTokers, heard of these ones. I feel like a lot of those early Musical.ly people were the really early successful TikTok folks. What is the sentiment right now around Web3 and NFTs among like the TikTok young creator crowd? I feel like we've seen a lot jump in, and it's been very cash grabby, and it hasn't really worked.
Yeah, no one understands nor cares about it. In my opinion, there's like less than 10 people I know in the creator economy that's like taking it seriously, actually doing well, and actually, again, building the foundation. I think that a lot of creators, you know, like at the end of the day, Web3 is complicated. you kind of got to be a nerd in somewhat shape or form to want to be a part of it.
And the UX is weird right now and not easily navigable.
Yeah.
And
So when it comes to creators coming in and, you know, like, and I've seen a lot, like we obviously seen a lot of just people get into it, not understanding it, and then obviously getting taken advantage of, and, you know, putting their name behind something that's not as reputable or whatnot. I think that creators are going to eventually understand, but they're kind of just like, they're like everyone else. There's just, you know, it takes the right person to educate them on it. And for example, like Gary Vee was someone that I looked up to, that I was able to learn, like actually understand what NFTs and Web3 was through him, you know? So having leaders in this space and actual thought leaders to create, and actual content creators to actually create good content and entertaining content, educational content for the Web3 space is like, I think, like number one, the most important thing about the space right now, because it's a new space. A lot of scams are going around, a lot of things that people don't understand because it's the Wild West. And I'm trying to, you know, bring as many people on as I possibly can within my small circle, and eventually to the masses once I feel like I have enough things to be able to bring them in. And yeah, that's kind of just my take on it.
As a creator, putting that hat on specifically, not even like a gamer builder, what excites you most about Web3 for creators?
I think it's so cool because I've never seen a stronger community than the communities in Web3. I think it's so insane how much value you can give to someone that supports you. By them supporting you, you can now support them with, whether it's, you know, perks or royalties or whatever. It's just like a beefed up like tactic to be able to like bring everyone together and make something happen for them, not only just for the creator themselves, but for their supporters. So yeah,
are you bullish? What do you think we'll get to, like decentralized media or social media, or better ownership of your audience via NFT?
Yeah, I think you know, there's so much possibilities. We're still so early, so I can't say this is not gonna happen, but I'm positive. I've already known and heard a few people trying to start it. It's obviously just like they have to figure it out still. But I think you know, we don't see Tumblr anymore. We don't see MySpace anymore, you know. Who knows? We're so early in technology of Web 2 technically still. We're only, what, 20 years in, really? You know, like iPhones didn't even exist 20 years ago. So it's kind of weird to just see how everything has shifted. And yeah, I don't know. It's going to be parabolic in the next few years. And I think that we're going to start seeing a lot of things that we just didn't expect at all.
The exponential age is, I don't know if that was coined by Shluv Pals, but you know, he uses it a lot. Okay, your quick tips or your rapid fire, how to get 50 million followers with JustMaiko, Michael Lee. Give it to us now.
All right, quick tip right now. It's a long process.
Yeah. Quick tip, it does not happen quickly.
Yeah, I mean, overnight success with any field, it looks like it to the public eye, but in reality, it's like, okay, like, yeah, this person got his first, you know, famous success or shot of success, or this person blew up because of this, but people don't see the years and years of commitment and hard work into the craft into, you know, what they've done. That's actually built up into that. You know, I think that success is a mixture of chance and work ethic. You know, like you need the right timing and you need the right chance, but you also need to be ready for that opportunity as well. You know, and I think that it's a mixture of both of them. And I feel like a lot of people, you know, they think it's a little bit easier just if they don't take a look into what's actually happening. Yeah, it can definitely be misconstrued that it's like easy.
YouTube and TikTok, what's the perfect length for YouTube and the perfect length for TikTok for a video?
It depends. It honestly depends on the creator. No, yeah,
it's complicated.
It's true.
Are you
no,
kidding
yeah,
me?
because there's like, you know, short form content works and it's short, and if it's intriguing, it's intriguing. But then you have like these videos, I don't know, like my friends, they started watching these either it's mukbangs or it's makeup videos, but it's like they're telling stories throughout, and it's like an hour-long video. And I'm like, and they watch it, and I kind of like watch on the side. I'm like, oh, this is kind of interesting, you know? So like, there's all different types of content, and I think that you just have to figure out what works for you. and that's pretty much it. There's no guidelines.
All right. No shortcuts.
Nope.
Got it.
That's pretty much it.
Bummer.
Yep, I know.
Has there been anything, what have you found most challenging, and this could be for either of you or both of you, about building in Web3 and maybe comparing it to things you've done in the past?
It's volatile. You have to be prepared, and that's why the gaming angle was so perfect for us, because we knew that no matter the volatility, we can continue forward with the confidence that we know where the technology is headed. But I would say that that's something I would tell people, come in with a long-term plan. Don't come in trying to get rich quick. It's not how this space works. You see the stories and the success stories, and it can happen, but that's not how you should be coming into it mentally.
Yeah, it gets so easy to have FOMO and burn out quickly, just trying to chase the highs and the waves, and
100%.
you will almost certainly come out poorer than you started.
Yeah, people need to realize
that.
You can't chase money. You got to chase passion, because passion will keep you long term, and that's what every single success story I've seen. That's the only reason why they're successful, is because they're following their passions and they're just sticking through it no matter what happens. And that's just how you gotta go.
I'll add my spin to that, which is I think passion some people are like clearly have a passion and like great and congratulations if that's you. But a lot of people I think feel like, God, what is my passion? And so I say, follow your curiosity. Like if you're curious about something, just keep going where you feel curious,
100%.
and then it might develop into a passion, or if it doesn't, follow the next curiosity. But that's, I feel like sometimes more approachable to folks than passion, which is intimidating.
Yeah.
Ask questions, to add to what Michael touched on this earlier, but one of the coolest things about the Web3 space is that you can just get in and add value. Find something that you're curious about or passionate about, like you're talking about, and go into the community and plug yourself in and start adding value, start bringing something to the table. And so many people are looking for help to build it in the space. It's really unique in that regard. They're not necessarily looking at your degree. They're looking at who adds value and who fits with the ethos of what we're building. There's a lot of opportunity out there right now.
Robin, maybe let's close. We didn't get into your background particularly, but would love to hear how you ended up here and why you're building what you're building.
Yeah, my background was in patenting tech products. But in 2017, I really fell in love with blockchain just because the tech was so disruptive and wide range of applications across so many different industries. So I started to develop proprietary data sets in and around the crypto space, utilizing social data from Twitter, Reddit, Discord, and building these data sets and looking for opportunities before they expose themselves to the market as a whole. And we found
a bunch of people are tweeting about this project, or like what kind of data were you extracting?
Exactly. So tracking hashtags and cash tags for every single project in the cryptocurrency space and watching the social volume of the chatter. It was after GameStop and AMC and seeing the power of community and the power of what happened on Reddit, and the power of people talking about things on social channels. That was really what gave me the confidence to take the dive into the space, because I saw what that did. And I said, this means that there could be an opportunity to identify opportunities that other people aren't necessarily seeing. And so we would track literally the hashtags, the cash tags, related terms on social channels like Twitter and Reddit, and then aggregate all of the data and use machine learning and algorithms to basically look for patterns and identify opportunities before they would otherwise be seen.
Do you have a biggest win you can flag from doing that? Like, we got into Goblin Town a week and a half ago, man. I don't know, whatever.
It's funny. We had some massive wins. Chainlink was one we got in really, really early on. Others that, that don't have, like Avalanche, which we again, you asked about the gaming chains. We've loved Avalanche since the beginning because they pivoted from ETH and offered solutions to the problems that were happening over there. And it kind of lended themselves really well to the gaming space. So we've been supporters of Avalanche for a really long time as well.
Very cool. All right. Well, thank you both so much. I appreciate you coming on, explaining this a bit more. You're tapping into an interesting area, so I'll be curious to see how it plays out in the years to come. And I'm trying to learn more about gaming. So, next time we talk, I'm going to know even more.
Fire.
And have even harder hitting questions. But I appreciate you both coming on very much.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Carly.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of Overpriced JPEGs. If you liked this conversation, if you liked this episode, please go ahead and hit subscribe. It helps me out, it helps the show out, and it means you will get alerts and updates when we post new content. Thanks again.